So, in the first year of Darius, the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. Verse 2 it says, "And now I will shew thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecian."
Alright. So now, there's another scripture that has Darius the Mede in it. Does anybody know where that scripture is?
I think it's in 5.
Is it in
Daniel 5.
Daniel 5, yep.
Towards the right when he takes over.
Right, so this is Darius the Mede. He's the king of the Median Empire, which was subjected to what empire?
The Greece.
Wait, you say that again?
No.
The Median Empire was subjected to what empire? Persian Empire.
Persia.
Who was the first king of Persia?
Was it Artaxerxes?
Xerxes.
Nope.
Cyrus.
Yep. Who said
Cyrus.
that?
The second or the first?
Oh.
It's not good about Cyrus. First or second?
What do you mean? No, Cyrus was the first. Who said Cyrus?
I did.
Oh yeah, Cyrus was the one that ruled. He was the first one to rule. Does anybody know a scripture where it mentions Cyrus?
First.
Oh, you raised your hands or we just?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you have to raise your hand.
First Ezra.
The book of Ezra.
Esdras.
Get it. You got one there. That's not what I was thinking about, but if you got something, bring it out. Anybody else?
I got one.
You got one? Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
you
sir.
gotta read the one you got and while you
It's the
find
book of
it.
Isaiah, chapter 45.
Right.
It says,
Let me pull it up.
verse 1.
That was Cyrus.
Yes, sir.
Pops. You tell them keep it down. Separate.
Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 1. Go ahead.
It says, thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him, and I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the 2 lead gates, and the gates shall not be shut.
So this was Cyrus, what they call Cyrus the Great.
I got another scripture with it with Cyrus.
Okay, cool. This is Cyrus the Great. Now, does anybody know what the word anointed means?
Chosen.
I'm sorry, the word anointed in the Hebrew, what is it?
Mashiach.
Mashiach. You know, because he was the anointed of the Most High to become this particular king, to fulfill this verse, and it just so happened to have his name in there. All right? It shows you that the Bible is a historical record also, and there are, secular individuals that are mentioned within the scriptures. All right? Now, when you go to Cyrus, oh no, this is not the one, it's a different one. But let's see what it says for Cyrus in the blue letter. Cyrus. Kawarash or Karash, which you had David Koresh, where you got that from. Cyrus possessed now the furnace. I'm not sure if that's what it means. I would have to look it up. It says the king of Persia and conqueror of Babylon, the first ruler of Persia, to make a decree allowing the Israelites. Oh man, somebody pulled the plug.
It's HDMI cord.
Yeah. I ain't know this. No, it was like right here by my knee. I ain't
Black.
All right. So it says king of Persia. All right, Shemai. The king of Persia and conqueror of Babylon, first ruler of Persia, to make a decree allowing the Israelites, exiles, to return to Jerusalem. All right, and he was the one that gave the decree, the order to build up the temple, the second temple. Okay. Now, let's go from there. Matter of fact, it didn't mention anything else, so that was it on that. All right, so now let's go from there back to Daniel 11. Oh, matter of fact, Cyrus the Great. And then when you get a chance, just look up Cyrus the Great. Commonly known as Cyrus the Great, was the founder of the Achaemenid Empire. He was the first king of the Achaemenid Empire, and he was a brown-skinned man. All right. So Esau got their depictions, but this is a drawing. This is not an actual image. It says, hailing from Persis, he brought the Achaemenid dynasty to power by defeating the Median Empire. See? So they subdued the Median Empire. You see how when you do research on some of these individuals, you pick up nuggets. Like when it says that about the ram came up and there was two horns, and the higher horn came up later, because the Persian Empire pretty much absolved or brought in to them the Mede Empire. That's why sometimes you'll see it as a Middle Persian Empire. All right, it says, and embracing all of the previous civilized states of the ancient Near East. All right. So when you get a chance, just look up Cyrus. Y'all could do a little more research on him. So we dealt with Cyrus, right? Darius the Mede, when he conquered the Babylonian Empire, which he pretty much is when pretty much it was handed to him by the Lord, Yahweh Shai. This was during the time of the Medo-Persian Empire. Cyrus the Great was a king at this time. He was also a king of the Medes, which was subjected to Cyrus and the Persian Empire. So we established that the first king of Persia is Cyrus. So now it says, now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. Does anybody know who these 3 kings are in the 4th?
I can give it a shot.
Let's go.
Alexander.
Nope.
Darius.
Oh, that's
Darius.
one. It's not in the order, but that's one.
Artaxerxes.
That's 2.
I think Antiochus is the
Nope. Antiochus is a Greek. Part of the Greek Empire. Cambyses.
Cambyses, yeah.
The second. All right. So you need one more. This one's going to probably be harder to remember. His name would be Bardia or Pseudo-Smyrna, which we're going to get. Y'all see how to spell it. I'll see how to spell it. So now let's get Cambyses. Cambyses the second. This is the first of the 4, or the first of the 3. It says, was the second king of kings of the Achaemenid Empire from 530 to 522 BC. All right? He was the son and successor of Cyrus the Great. And his mother was Cassandane. All right? So he is the first of the 3, and then you have the 4th. Okay? So now the second one. Yes.
I never had them in order. Are you putting them in order?
This is the order, yeah. Cambyses the second is the first one.
Okay. That's good. You can talk on them. Are you gonna put them up in order?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the next one now.
Okay.
So Cambyses the second is the first one, right? Then you have Bardia. Now Bardia is the second one. He didn't rule that long. He was taken down the same year. I'm not sure if it was a few months. But Bardia or Smerdis. Now they're saying that the second one could either be him or somebody that took his name. And in when you do research in some of them, it tell you that it was pseudo-Smyrna, which wasn't really Smyrna, but he took on that name. Bardia is his name, and then you have Smerdis. That's his other name. All right, so Bardia, ancient Greek, Smerdis, possibly died 522 BCE, also known as Tanyoxarxes, by Theseus, was a son of Cyrus the Great. So him and Cambyses were brothers. And the younger brother of Cambyses II, both Persian kings, there are sharply divided views on his life. Alright. Bardia either ruled Achaemenid Empire for a few months in 522 BCE, or was impersonated by a magus called Guamat. Those are named, whose name is given by Theseus as Svendatis, alright, until he was toppled by Darius the Great, alright? So you see he was taken out. So when you get a chance, if you want to get more in depth with it, you can always look these individuals up. So that was the second one. The third one is Darius the Great, which is Darius the First. All right, 550 to 486 BCE. That's before Common Era, before the Christian era, and BC stands for before Christ, which is Yahushua, Mashiach. Commonly known as Darius the Great. So when you hear Darius the Great, that's Darius the First. Was a Persian ruler who served as a king, as a third king of kings. See, so he was the third in succession. So you had the three. He's the third in succession, king of kings of the Achaemenid Empire, reigning from 522 BC. That's when Smerdis was taken out by Darius, until his death in 486 BCE. He ruled the empire at his territorial peak. So when he ruled, the empire was vast. Because remember, at that time they had the known world, which is east, and some of the lands surrounding the Mediterranean. Because when you control seaports, you control a lot. You know, there's a lot of money that can be made when you have seaports. You know.
Kind of like what was happening in the Suez Canal a couple of years ago.
Yep. You know, and that's why they want these certain areas, because they know. You left your hat there. You know, and that's why certain areas are pretty much coveted after. Like the Panama Canal, which Esau was digging that out, and that's why they waged war against Noriega. Yeah, that drug dealer. President Bush said that because they wanted to keep hold of that, but that's a key money-making spot. So they took his ass out. Say he was dealing drugs, which he probably was, but they set him up. And that's what they do. That's what the devil does. So y'all got it. And the last and fourth one is Xerxes the First, from 518 BC to 465 BC. That's when he ruled. Commonly known as Xerxes the Great. And this Xerxes the Great is the one depicted in the movie 300. Y'all brother see. And we're gonna. I'm sorry. What's that?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
In the second one, in the Rise of the Empire, it shows his father being killed.
Okay, now I didn't see the second. Is the second one any good? Trash.
I mean, it's okay, but I'm comparing it to the first one though. So
Okay.
compared to the first one, it's trash. And hold up. But it does. You know what? It's actually beautiful that you said about that, because the second one get into how important the Navy ships is. Because that's basically all the fight. The fight is all in the ocean.
Yeah.
They go off at the end though.
They go off at the brother. They go off when we get into it. All right, so we got that. So it was a Persian ruler who served as the fourth king of kings. So you see, 4. It says what? 3, and then the 4. So it says the one. Can you put that in the microwave? And let me know how much I owe you. It says reigning from 46 BC until his assassination in 465, he was the son of Darius the Great and Atosa, a daughter of Cyrus the Great. In Western history, so he was the fourth one. You had your hand up?
Yeah, this is the same as Artaxerxes, depending on where you read, right?
You took the no, it's okay, You took the extra credit question.
Oh.
But no, go ahead, you got it.
Yeah.
No, you on it. That's good.
Yes, depending on what you read in the scripture, it's the same person.
Right, so okay, does anybody know where he's mentioned in the Bible?
Ezra.
Okay, where else? There's another one too, but if you got that one, bring that out. There's another one too.
Why are they all called the great?
That was his title, name rulers, yeah. You know, the great, like, you know, you had Caesars,
Esdras.
you know, you had like different, you know, Alexander the Great.
They're all called the great.
Yeah, because Darius, Xerxes,
Yeah.
those are all common names that were used for these particular rulers. Like you had Seleucus, you had a whole bunch of Seleucus. Then you had surnames, you know, Soter and different names, you know, to distinguish them from the other. Antiochus Epiphanes. You had the Caesars, you know, that was a title.
Caesar the Great.
They were all called Caesars they weren't named Caesar, but they got that name or title from Julius Caesar. You know, just like the Tsars got their name from Caesar. You know,
So the first were the great, and the rest of them just living off their name, almost one passed over.
yeah, because it just became a title. Like you had the word Tsar in Russia. Then you had the word Kaiser in Germany. You had Kaiser Wilhelm, different Kaisers.
Khan.
Which goes, what's that?
Khan, you know.
Khan, yep.
Khan is basically these kings.
That's right. So you got all those titles were taken from Julius Caesar. You know, so these were just names that they called Alexander the Great, Xerxes the Great, Darius the Great, and it could be because they were the first one.
That's what I was.
You know, so that could be also a reason for it. All right, so we got the 4. So anybody got the scripture?
This is Ezra chapter 4, beginning of verse 7. It says, in the days of Artaxerxes wrote Bishlam, Mithridath, Tabeil, and the rest of their companions unto Artaxerxes, king of Persia, and the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue and interpreted in the Syrian tongue.
Now, is that in the Bible one, or is that the one in the Apocrypha?
The one in the Bible.
Okay. Well, what verse was that?
Verse 7.
Let me get that. Ezra 4 and 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Ezra chapter 4 and verse 7. Let's look up the word Artaxerxes. See if it's the same. If it's a Arath Artaxerxes, I will make the spoil to boil. I don't know if that's what it means. I will stir myself in winter.
That's some shit, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's exactly what he did. Son and successor of Xerxes as emperor of Persia, 465 to 424. Okay? So, trying to see, because the one here, see, this might be a different one.
Okay.
It might have came, he might have came later. So the actual Xerxes is in the book of Esther, chapter 1 and 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia. That was a vast empire. All right. Let me see.
That's from verse 6 of Ezra 4, Ahasuerus.
It says the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It says Ezra chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem.
So yeah, because that's two different ones. The one, this is him, yep, Ahasuerus. It should say the same thing here. Yep, that's the one. It says title of the king of Persia, probably Xerxes. It is Xerxes. Xerxes the first. All right. So both that one and this one, they both go hand in hand. Now I said that he reigned over from India even up to Ethiopia over 107 and 20 provinces. You know, you could, when you get a chance, you could type that up, you know, to see what the region is. That's Fertile Crescent, all the way from Persia, all the way down to Syria, down to Palestine, Jerusalem, Israel, all the way into Egypt. All right, and he went all the way down to Ethiopia. So if you ruled those lands at that time, you were considered the rulers of the world, the known world. All right. So that goes hand in hand because he had a vast empire, which means he had vast riches. And that's why it said here in Daniel 11:2, and now will I show thee the truth, behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. So you see how the scriptures are historical accounts also. Mentions secular kings, Caesars, and all that, you know, in history. And sometimes they name names, sometimes they don't. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. And they'll show you that in the movie 300. He's the one that fought against the Greeks. And pretty much, you know, he stirred up all against the kings of Greece. But the thing about it was, this was the beginning of them losing their rulership.
Because the 300 actually lost.
Yeah.
They killed them, because I think Persia didn't fall, Persia really didn't fall, I think it's like a couple, I want to say probably 100 years after that, when they fought the 300.
Right, yeah, no, because, yeah, that was around the 400 something. So they still had, you know, rulership, but the Persians were losing certain battles to the Greeks. And one of them, I'm trying to remember where we were at.
You don't just fall overnight either.
No. Nope. Right. He was the son of Darius the Great and Atosa, the daughter of Cyrus the Great. In Western history, Xerxes is best known for his invasion of Greece in 480 BC, which ended in Persian defeat. You see? So they won certain battles, but others they lost. Xerxes was, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, thank you.
No, go ahead.
That's how you know the oracles was, you know, they went off in that movie when they said the oracle said all Greece shall fall to the Persians.
Yeah, they went off. Big time. Went off.
Is this, I asked if there's a precept, First Maccabees 61?
Go ahead, bring it up.
For that Daniel 11 and I think the end of verse 2, it says, this is First Maccabees 6 and 1 said, about that time, King Antiochus traveling through the high countries heard say that Elamaeus in the country of Persia was a city greatly renowned for riches, silver, and gold.
That's a good precept. Read it again. Matter of fact, let me pull it up.
First Maccabees 6 and 1.
First Maccabees 6 and 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, you know, this is how you do the research. This is how you put precepts together. This ain't a precept package, you know, but this is how you do it. All right, so read it again.
It says, about that time, King Antiochus, traveling through the high countries, heard say that Elamaeus in the country of Persia was a city greatly renowned for riches, silver, and gold.
Right, and this is after the destruction of the Persian Empire, but they still were rich. That's why Antiochus went there to pretty much to steal, you know, and take stuff from them, riches from them. But this is where he ended up, you know, he ended up being defeated, and then he ended up going back. And then on his way back, he was so pissed off, he was going to take it out on Jacob. And that's when the Lord fucked his ass up. See? So this wasn't the chapter, but when you go to the 9th chapter, it brings it out. Because it was a battle that he lost, and he was pissed off. So on his way back from that battle, that's when he started, talking all that mess. He was talking all that jazz, and the Lord said, "Okay, I got something for you. I got a nice saxophone to play for your ass."
Trying to think. That's why his men didn't even want to be around him. He stunk so bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
he couldn't even stand his own smell.
Yeah. Okay.
He said he thought himself to be Israelite.
Yeah, he wanted. He said, "Man, I'll convert. I'll do everything. It'll be a great honor to honor everyone that's a Jew." Lord said, "Man, I got something for you." Damn devil. So that was it, right, Ash?
Yes, sir.
Oh, now read the second one.
Okay. It says,
You can read it off there. Can you see it there?
It said, it's a First Maccabees 6:2. It said that there was in it a very rich temple, wherein were coverings of gold and breastplates and shields, which Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian king, who reigned first among the Grecians, had left there.
Woo, that's another scripture that mentions Alexander's name. See?
God.
And it says the same way, you know, I didn't know about this one. Yeah, that's everything. I mean, I'm pretty sure, you know, we read it before, but, you know, yeah, yeah. Yep, Philip. Yep. Second. So that's all we're gonna deal with in the book of Daniel 11. This is the first two verses. All right. And yesterday, this brother was here, Romeo was here, and we went over the third and the fourth verse. You know, and that's pretty self-explanatory because it goes hand in hand with Daniel the 8th chapter and Daniel 7. So you already got that. Because this is a succession. This chapter here is a succession from the fall of Babylon till the rising of the Greek Empire, to the splitting up of the Greek Empire, to the 6 Syrian wars, the 6 major wars that was fought between the Ptolemaic dynasty and the Seleucid dynasty, or Ptolemaic dynasty, however they say it, and the Seleucid dynasty. And these are those 6 Syrian wars, and it's a lot of dates, a lot of kings, and also, you know, when back in the days we had the marathon classes, we went through this. It took us 3 weeks to go through this. 3 Sabbaths, you know, like from Saturday, we went from after we got off camp, 8, we went through it. Then the next week, next Saturday, we went through it again after camp, and then the third Saturday we went over it again. You know, and we were still piecing it together. You know, this is like late hours in the morning. You know, so you brothers got it easy, man. All right, so y'all got that?
Done.
All right, now we're gonna shift over to Daniel chapter 9. We're not gonna go through the whole chapter because the chapter is pretty self-explanatory. All right, all this is self-explanatory. All right, y'all can read that when y'all get a chance. We're just gonna go straight to the vision at the end, the 70 weeks and the Messiah. All right. So who would like? Does anybody know? Does anybody like to read it and break it down? Go ahead. Daniel 9.
9:24.
Yep.
This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 24. It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon the holy city to finish the transgressions and to make an end of sin, and to make a reconciliation for the iniquity, and to bring an everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most high and the most holy.
Okay, so what is the 70 weeks?
So
No, if you're breaking it down, you can answer.
yes, sir. So the 70 weeks actually goes into years. If somebody can give Genesis.
Yeah, I was about to ask, what do you have any precepts on?
Yeah, if you get to Genesis,
Precept that.
get where Laban was making Jacob work, and he said, because we already know how long Jacob worked for Rachel, but he didn't say years, he said weeks.
So I got it.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 29, verse 27. It says, fulfill her week.
26.
Verse 26. And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also.
Right, so that week, he said, fulfill your week, and he'll give her also. So that week goes into 7 years. All right. So Jacob has to work 7 years to get Rachel, which it says it was a week there. All right. Can someone also get Numbers 14 and 34? Go ahead.
That was 26.
I got that Numbers
Okay, finish the Genesis Bible chapter.
Oh,
Right.
before
It says,
you read that,
uh,
go jump up to the 19th verse.
Verse 19. It says, and Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years, and Rachel.
See, so it says he served 7 years. Okay, ready?
And they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had for her. I mean, had to her.
Now you could jump down to the verse you were at.
Okay, verse
And
27.
you got it, bro.
It says, fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also.
So y'all understand what it means to fulfill her week, right?
Not fully, Apostle.
All right. So break it down, Gabaria. Make them understand.
So go back up to the 19th verse.
Verse 19. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee.
So Laban, you already, you understand he wanted to give his daughter to Jacob. Go ahead.
Read the 18th verse.
Verse 18. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years.
So he said he's going to serve him 7 years. All right. That's why in the verse 27 it says Laban said fulfill her week. All right. So that week goes into 7 years, a period of time. So it's interchangeable. Like you got 7 years, it's interchangeable for a week, according to the symbolic for a week in the scriptures. Right?
So 1 day is a year.
Huh?
1 day is a year. I mean,
Cause 7 days is you can, but a week consists of 7 days, which is which you can interchangeable for 7 years. So when it talks about in Daniel the 9th chapter 24, it says 70 weeks. It actually goes into a year. It's talking about a yearly process, not actually 70 weeks.
Right, because it's a prophecy.
Right.
Okay.
Which we're gonna get that. It's a real long. It's a long time span basically. It's talking about one point of event, a beginning of one point of event, and then the ending of another point of event. But we can get that more when we get to it.
So where we at now?
7 weeks is 7 years.
Was that it in
No,
Genesis?
no. And each week is 7 years.
Okay,
So
one week
one week
is
is 7. So that times
Okay.
70.
Right.
I think it's 400 and.
Well, before you go on to
Yeah,
it, now how long did Jacob serve for Rachel?
Anybody?
7 years.
7 years.
Huh?
7 years.
Yeah.
Right? So 7 years, when you read further down, Laban told him to fulfill her week.
Okay.
So if he served 7 years for Rachel, he gave him Leah. Then he said fulfill her week, Rachel's week, because they had a custom they couldn't give the younger daughter before the older daughter. So he said fulfill her week. So how long did he serve for her in the beginning? 7 years.
7 years.
So a week is symbolic, as the bars break it down, for 7 years. So fulfill her week. Y'all understand? Everybody understand?
If you look it up in the Strong's too, it tell you.
Yeah.
It'll tell you 7 years.
You're talking about fulfill her week?
Yep. It'll tell you 7 years.
Right there where it says week?
Yep.
Somebody got the numbers? Bible shop? Oh, it's like.
Like, there you go.
Fulfill her
Right.
week. I'm sorry, Shabbat, what did I say? Shabbat, which is Shabbat. 7 period of 7 days or years. See what happens when you start looking stuff up? That's how you research. That's how you break it down, yeah.
Yep, and in that verse, in the second part of 27, it actually completes it, what the elder's also saying as well. At Genesis 29, verse 27.
You get it right there, 7 of years. All right, what verse you in?
Verse 27.
Yeah, fulfill her week.
Mhm.
And we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. So it's right. It's breaking it down right there in the 27th verse. All right. Now, you had another precept you were going to go to?
Yes, sir. Just to show the interchange between years and days. Numbers.
Yep.
Numbers 14 and 34.
Yep. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 14 and verse 34. It says, It says, after the number of the days in which ye search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year.
See, each day for a year. All right, so like we just established, seven days in a week equals, you know, each day is for a year. So 7 days, 7 years.
It says, shall you bear your iniquities, even 40 years, ye shall know my breach of promise.
Okay. All right, we can,
All right, so let's go back.
That was Daniel, 24.
All right. So read it again and break it down.
yes, sir. It says 70 weeks are determined upon thy people
Let me get that.
and upon the holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy.
So 70 weeks. 1 week is how much? How long?
7 years.
7 years. So 70 weeks.
490 years.
490 years. So that's how long the prophecy will take. Got it?
490 years.
Yep. So you got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, and 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon the holy city. It says to finish the
What's the holy city?
Jerusalem.
There you go. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It says, and upon the holy city, it says to finish the transgression and to make an end of sin. Now this is basically going into this is the reason why we actually went into Daniel the 11th chapter first. Because Cyrus gave a decree for what?
To return to that.
Exactly right. So that's going into basically where we at? To finish the transgression and to make an end of sin. All right, so we can get that account. Anybody know what's that at?
What's that?
It's the account where he gave a decree.
I think that's in Ezra, like the first couple chapters.
First Ezra 2, 1 to 5.
Yeah, it's first Ezra.
Well, it's also in the 4th chapter, I believe, right? Or no?
Yeah, is that what the heathens trying to build with them, and you said you can't build with us?
Yeah, it's gonna get
Oh, right there,
chapter
right
4.
there.
Con.
There's one right
Yep,
there.
go ahead. Yep. So I can read.
Yep. Ezra chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, now in the first year of Cyrus king of Persia, that the word of the Lord Yahweh by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, thus saith Cyrus king of Persia, the Lord Yahweh God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. It says, who is there among you of all his people? His power.
Well, that was the point right there. I just wanted to get this straight, so we understand that Cyrus is the one who gave the decree for the Israelites to build. You know, now we finna go. Now we finna get into.
You finna get deep.
Yeah, and that's what.
Somebody get Jeremiah 14:2.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm joking. That's an inside joke. We finna get deep. This dude said that in the camp one time. I mean, I wasn't there. I heard it. We finna get deep. Somebody give me Jeremiah 14:2. Now there's the logic.
Yeah.
You know the doves.
Yes, it says, and to make a reconciliation for iniquity. Now, what does it mean to reconcile?
Come on, scholars.
Right, to bring back to basically make amends. Right. So that's what. So this is basically good into the temple back up. So we have a place to do that reconciliation. You know, it says and to bring everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision of prophecy and to the anointed. And it says and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. All right. So.
Right, because there's a certain period of time, 490 years, it has to pass, and there's a reason why this particular prophecy is happening, because of the sins of Israel. So what did the Lord do? He said, I want to hear, I want to smell your assemblies, your feasts, your new moons, your Sabbaths, your sacrifices stink to me. I don't, you know, I don't want to deal with that no more.
That's also animals too.
The water. All right, so that's pretty much, you know, what it was. So during this time, you had the destruction of the temple from the Babylonians. The Medo-Persians destroyed the Babylonians. So the Medo-Persians are you have to go outside for that, bro. The Medo-Persian Empire, right? They what they did was they took down the Babylonians, and when they were established, the Lord put the spirit on Cyrus to pretty much set up an order, decree, a letter that the walls of Jerusalem will be built again, and because the Lord put it in His heart to do so. So from that point that the temple was finished until the future, that's when that reconciliation was going to happen. You know, y'all got it?
Sir.
All right. So it says to anoint the most holy. Who's the most holy? There you go. All right. So y'all got it. So we pretty much done with the 24th verse.
Verse 25, it says, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to the restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah," it says, "the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks."
Right.
It says,
So it says, no, sorry. Go ahead.
yes, sir. It says, it says, "the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times."
So you got it.
So yes, sir. It says, "Knowing therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment." Now, the commandment, it goes into, and we just talked about Cyprus giving that commandment, that letter, you know, being sent out to say, well, we have permission to build the temple back up.
Mhm.
It says, to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah. The prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. Right. So I think that's going into the time it took us to build the actual temple.
Nope.
Oh, it's not.
Nope.
Is it talking about
Because read it again, the last part.
It says it's like I lost
That from the going forth of the commandment.
God. It says, "From the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah."
So you got a whole lot there. It says shall be what?
The prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks.
So what is that talking about? 7 weeks and 3 score. What's 3 score?
16 weeks.
All right. And what's 2? That'll be what?
62.
62. And 7.
69.
69.
69.
69.
Yep. So what is that? What is 69?
That's 69 weeks.
Yep.
69. Oh, so okay.
So if
Oh, that's
70
the-
weeks is 490, what's
That's the.
69?
It's the time of. Is it talking about the time the temple was built all the way to the time Yahushua came on scene?
That's it. So what's 400 and, I mean, 483 weeks. How long is that?
69.
It's 483.
There you go, 483 weeks. Or, 83, years. See, I got that?
Done.
So, I'm sorry, what's that?
So it's 483 years until the time of the temple was built to the time when Yahweh was supposed
There
to
you
come.
go.
I'm just trying to get how to word it.
Yeah, there you go. Because there's a whole lot there.
Yeah. It's kind of a little fuzzy. I remember a chunk of it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, that's the 483 years.
483 from temple to Yahushua.
That's to the time Yahweh. Now you have scholars that's going to give you different dates of the, when the building was set up, and one thing with prophecy that we do know is that like the scripture says, the we have a more sure word of prophecy. But sometimes, some individuals, they try to pinpoint to the last second. And sometimes it doesn't work like that. Like for instance, the Babylonians were given 70 years to rule. But they only ruled around 66, 67 years or something like that. But that's still within the 70-year period. You see? So with this here, you're going to get different varying dates. I'm sorry,
It's
go
like
ahead.
a
No, go ahead.
even when in Revelation, the 20th chapter, I believe the Edomites, when they said they would die for 1,000 years, I think
Right.
they actually kind of went over a little bit over.
Yeah, yeah. So it could go a little under, a little over.
Yeah.
You know? But the thing is that it's going to be within that time frame. You understand, bro? You got that puzzled look on your face.
Oh yeah, I got
Okay,
it.
gotcha. All right, good.
It says, and to restore and to build Jerusalem until the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, restored in 2 weeks. It says, the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times.
So what does that mean? The street shall be built again and the wall even in troublous time.
Now we can get the,
Ezra 4.
yeah, now we get that.
There you go.
So that's gonna go into it. That's gonna go
Now you're cooking with olive oil.
It's where
You notice I ain't say Crisco.
and this is one of my favorite scriptures to get to show the separation between the heathens and the Christians and Israel.
Ezra chapter 4. Ezra chapter 4, beginning in verse 1. It says, now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord Yahweh power of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do.
Now, when you go up in time, the woman at the well, was she an Israelite or was she a heathen? Okay. Now you have to understand that at that time, you had how long had they been in that land already by the time Yahushua was on the scene?
Since I know he had heathens enter the land of Samaria, the 2 Kings 17.
Right, which was, give me a year, roughly.
I can't put my finger on the year.
Anybody? Because how did the heathen get in there?
The Lord moved the king of Assyria at that time to push Jake out the land, and then
Right.
that's when heathen started inhabiting
So
the
what
land.
year was that?
724
There you go. Who said that? Yeah, around there, yeah. So around 724, 722 BC, around it, that's when the northern kingdom fell. And eventually around that time is when they came over to the side of the world. So you take it 722, and you bring it all the way through the BC era to the AD era. That's what?
It was 800 years.
Roughly about 750, close to 800 years, so on and so forth. So you got to remember, generation after generation of these heathens being in there, they believed that they were Israelites. That's why the woman at the well said, "What? Are you, our father Jacob? He wasn't your father." Exactly. That's it. That's why Yahushua told her that. So just like the small hats today, they believe they're the people because they've been in that land and this is what they've been told all this time. Then when you go back to the conversion around 84 AD, around there, something like that, 754 AD, through the Cajun bullying, the Khazars, they believe that they're the people. Just like Jake, when Jake was taken down and Hellenized, back then they knew they were Israelites, but eventually through our process of time, throughout generation after generation after generation, all they knew was the Greek ways.
They thought they were really Greeks.
That's it.
It says when they chose to lift the gods of the Greeks, roughly paraphrasing, but something about lifting up the gods of the Greeks, the gods of their father. Something
Yeah.
like that.
So pretty much that's why they were being called Greeks. But that's why the Apostle Paul came back, because he understood the history and said, look, there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek. Why? Because they're both Israelites. There's one speaking Hebrew, the other one speaking Greek. And the ones that were speaking Greek were into anything but the scriptures. But there were certain things that they were doing spiritually that linked them to being Israelites. That's why I said, anybody know where that scripture is real quick? In Romans 2.
They have
Yeah.
zeal, but not according to knowledge.
No, that's
I know
what,
what you're talking about.
it's Romans 2,
I got you.
roughly around the 12, 13, 14 verse, around there. And this is why they really believed that they were Israelites. But even though they were brought up eating pork, worshiping the gods of the Greeks, in the Greek religion and all that, they still did certain things that, you know, showed that they were Israelites, even though they were oblivious to it. It was just something in their nature, in their spirit.
A perfect example, Jake won't eat no bloody steak, man.
Right.
Jake won't eat no bloody steak. The nigga woman, you see the nigga woman always wrapping her head up.
Yep.
You know, even though they don't know they're Israelites, they still keep, you know,
Certain things that they do.
customs.
Yeah.
This is Romans 12:14. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves.
Brothers understand that?
Huh.
So they're doing things, these are Israelite foreigners doing certain things that are contained in the law, but they didn't have the law. So why did they do it? Because they're Israelites. You got spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are the sons of the Most High. So there were certain things they were doing that they didn't learn that, but it was just in their spirit. There were things that are of the law, you know, because they were Israelites. But they just lost their way. So at this point, when Yahushua was on the scene, they were already convinced they were Greeks. So just like the woman at the well and those other heathens, after so many generations, they really believed they were the people. You know? So you got it. That was it, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Alright, so let's go back.
It's a little bit more.
Yeah, good.
It says, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts. The meanwhile accusing or
See,
else
accusing, because the things that they did accused them that they were Israelites. Just like when the woman came to Yahushua and she said, you were with the Messiah. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, your speech bewrayeth thee. So that's your accusation, you know, the things that you're saying, how you speak it. You see, that's the same thing that's going on here. You got it.
or excusing one another.
Right.
And that's it.
That's it. So let's go back.
Back in Ezra chapter 4 and verse 2, it says, Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power.
And that's the same thing Yahushua said to that woman at the well. Go ahead.
It says, But we ourselves together will build unto the Lord Yahweh power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, has commanded us.
What you read that? Is that?
Nah, I'm just.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building.
Right, so hold on there. Let's go back. It said what? Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem, which is during the time of Cyrus, during the time of the Persian kings, unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks, and 3 score and 2 weeks. Oh, damn, bro. Finish. That's all right. Through, brother. It's all right, brother. You know, don't worry about it. I'm just busting your chops. You slug it in and come back up.
Hey, if you want to,
Hey, you know what that's like? You know when y'all be watching like a series, and then it's getting good, and all of a sudden they cut it.
Yeah.
And you gotta wait till the next fucking.
Next damn season.
Yeah, that's why I always 3 episodes or so, because I
Con,
believe
con, so you can binge watch.
Next time, we're dragging. Batman, old Batman.
Okay, I never watched it.
It's good.
So there's too many seasons. All right, so settle down. So it says, the street shall be built again, and the wall even in what? Troublous times. So when we go back here, in Ezra 4, right?
Yep.
It says, then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. See? Troublous times. And then what did they do? They were building, had a working tool in one hand and a weapon in the other. You know, so they were working with one hand and keeping watch with the other. So they would have to go to war. They're already ready. You know, so they built it in troublous times. You know, so they finally got the second building built. Then years later, in the future, that's when Yahushua came on the scene. And you got to remember that these dates that we have is pretty much based off of Esau and their research. You know, so we really technically we don't even know what year we're really in.
Right.
You know, because shit is all off course.
Right.
You know, so the dates when you do the research, you go to the commentaries, you see these different dates. Those are just pretty much what's the word I'm looking for? Estimates. The water. Those are estimates. You was gonna say something?
Yeah, haven't we been off like since 46 BC, something like that? The Gregorian and Julian calendar when they extended to 365 days.
That was during the time of the Julian calendar, 365, and then every 4 years, 366. Then during the time in the 1500s with the Gregorian calendar, they took out certain amount of days or something. I forget a certain amount of days out of the whole calendar. They just took it out because everything was out of whack. So instead of fixing it another way, they just deleted days. So technically, we don't know what day we're.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, 365 days, and every 4 years a leap year. That's 6 days. That ain't a whole lot, but multiply that times 10, times 20, times 30, times 100, times 1,000. You see, and that adds up to to a lot. So the time can fall back. So it could be the same thing with the BC era. You know, so we're just basically using that as an estimate. All right.
He said that in prophecy. He said that in the movie Matrix. He said we think we're in like the year 2000. He said really, to be honest, we estimate we're probably in the year probably 3,000 or 4,000.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
So remember in the time of in Egypt, they during the rule of the Egyptian Empire, they had one of those Egyptian kings established 10-day weeks. 10-day weeks for years. You know, they had 10-day weeks. They said it threw the calendar off so bad that they had to have like the world's top astrologers. Like when the dude died, eventually they had to have like astrologers come and like redo everything because the calendars were off so bad.
That's right. It's prophecy. Because Scripture says, right, he changed times and seasons.
Yep.
So,
There's a scripture where many people say we much closer than we believe.
Yeah, bro. Hey, but we don't have to worry about the calendar anyway because the prophecies is really basic. I know God.
Prophecy.
But the Sabbath is Friday night Sabbath.
Friday or Saturday.
Yep. It says Ezra 4:5. It says, I'll read verse 4 again. It says, then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose.
Yeah, they're just being demons.
Yeah.
They hire people to frustrate their purpose.
Yep.
Our purpose was to get the temple built. They tried everything to stop us.
The same thing today.
Right,
It says,
exactly. Taking down our video, taking down our videos,
it's a spiritual tumble.
Yeah, because they know that once Jake was in power, in fact, right with the Most High, there's nothing they can do against it. But that's it on that. Let's go back to Daniel. So y'all got the 25th verse.
Come.
All right. Everybody understands?
Come.
All right. Now, next verse.
It says, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and until the end of the war desolation are determined.
All right, so break it down.
So yeah, so it says, and after 62 weeks, 60, going into 60, seriously, man,
62.
no, it's I forgot the exact terminology for it, but I know it's going into basically the death of Yahweh Shah. It says that the Messiah shall be cut off. It says, but not for himself, which basically he's dying for the sins of Israel. It says, and the people shall, and the people.
Yeah, because when the temple was built, right? The second temple was built. That was built for what? To sacrifice again, to have, to make the atonement. Yahweh Shai became the ultimate atonement. All right. So after he came on the scene and fulfilled his mission, he would have to become the ultimate atonement. That's where he was cut off. All right, to make the final reconciliation. All right. Go ahead.
And was that a point where it says, but not for himself?
Yeah,
It was for
but
them.
not for himself, right? Because he did it for himself too, but he did it for us.
Hebrews 7, right?
Yep, Hebrews 7. You know, which goes into that. If you understand what Hebrews 7 is really saying, then you understand that that's dealing with reincarnation. And other scriptures too. Go ahead.
It says, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Now,
Who are the people of the prince?
Anybody or?
No, you, the reader.
Oh, yeah, this is talking about Esau. I think it was like
Be more specific.
the the Flavian
What,
dynasty.
you talking about Trump?
No.
Biden?
No, Vespasian.
Good. The Romans.
The Romans.
All right. And the people of the prince that shall come shall what?
Destroy the city and the sanctuary.
So what is that going into?
The ransacking of our temple.
All right. What's the date? Give me the date. It says,
No.
Yeah, get more specific.
Between 66 AD and 73.
Right. So what was the key date?
60.
Because this is dealing with the sanctuary.
Con.
Right. When was the sanctuary destroyed?
66.
Nope.
69.
Nope.
70. 70. Okay.
All right. That's the siege of Jerusalem. Right. That's it.
Oh,
Now,
shit. I don't even know if we got copies of that.
I got one over there. I got one over there.
No, I'm saying they should have copies of that.
So here we go.
Oh,
Britannicus,
PDF?
right? Siege of Jerusalem, 70 CE to 70 AD. Roman military blockade of Jerusalem during the first Jewish revolt. The fall of the city marked the effective conclusion of a 4-year campaign against the Jewish insurgency in Judea, which was actually around 3.5 years. You know, calculate, the time or thereabouts. The Romans destroyed much of the city, including the Second Temple. See how it ties in? Now, anybody got any precepts on that?
I think I got, is it Revelation 12:15?
That's a good one. Look it up.
It's also one in Luke where it talks about when you see from the armies compass thyself, you should flee into the mountains.
There we go.
The abomination of desolation.
Well, we're going to read that in. Well, that's another good one. Matthew 24. Luke 19 also goes into. You had a scripture.
Yes, sir. Revelation 12 and 15.
All right, Revelation 12 and 15. Take that. Go ahead.
That's Revelation 12 and 15. It said, the serpent cast out his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. It said, and the earth helped the woman, and the woman opened up her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of her. mouth.
Right, so it says the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood. What's that? After the woman.
The armies,
There you go, the armies. Under who?
Romans,
American army?
Roman armies.
Okay. That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood, meaning the military. All right, now we go to Luke 19:41. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. For the day shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side. That was 70 AD, right? And shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation. And when you look at this word trench, that goes into the word, one of the root words of the word karat, which is karas, which is a palisade, a rampart. Because what happens was when the Romans would conquer a city, they would set up a wall around the city. So none could get in, none could get out.
Right.
So that's what they did to Jerusalem. And eventually, and eventually they penetrated through the walls, broke down the defenses, and eventually got in there and took everybody out. Sold some into slavery. You could go into the history of that. There's another one too in Luke 21 where it said, "These be the days of vengeance." You got that? All right, hold up. Let me get that real quick.
21 and you can start from 6, but the whole chapter gets into it. But also, Apostle, back you up. You read that. You actually read that book, The Babylon Temple too. It goes into how the Romans was cutting our bellies open because we were eating gold coins because of the famine. When they cut the city off, no food was getting in, so we were eating, basically anything to survive. So it
So they were eating belts, leather, tree, the leaves off the trees. All right, so go ahead.
We start from verse 6.
Yep, you can read verse 6 and then jump down.
Okay. This is Luke chapter 21, verse 6. It says, as for these things as for these things which ye behold, the day will come, in that which there shall not be left one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. All right.
Jump down to verse
17. No.
Yep. No, 20.
20. In verse 20 it says, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then it says, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
That's the flood.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and it says, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
That all things which are written may be fulfilled.
And my Bible actually has the precept, Daniel 9 and 26.
There you go. That's what it goes back to. Because they'll try to use Daniel 9, try to say that that's dealing with the 7-year tribulation period. That's about to happen before the rapture. Or after the rapture. Yes. But if you know the breakdown, you can go to the precept. Boom. These be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written, which are written may be fulfilled. You see? So that whole 7-year tribulation is not, there was a 7-year tribulation, but it's not what they're talking about. It was dealing, we're getting into it.
With the Flavian dynasty.
Yep.
Vespasian, Titus, and Domitius.
That's right. So we got that. This is First Jewish Revolt. First Jewish Revolt, AD 60-67. Right? That was a 3.5-year revolt. Jewish rebellion against Roman rule in Judea. The first Jewish revolt was the result of a long series of clashes in which small groups of Jews offered sporadic resistance to the Romans, because they were taxing the hell out of them. And there was, the zealots pretty much raising up against the
That's what they
Romans.
took down, right?
What's that?
The Zealots was last.
Yeah,
basically
it was
Jewish.
started, yep. But the thing about it was there was a lot of small rebellions going on, and that's why the Apostle Paul said that. He said, resist not the powers that be. Don't fight against them, because there was a lot of stuff going on prior to this. But this was like the culmination of it, because the prophecy had to be fulfilled.
Yeah, because we mentioned like Jake eating like leather belts and things of that nature. So during the famine back then, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the Sakari back then responsible for that?
Yep, yep. The Sakari, which was a break off from the Zealots. The Zealots were all part of that. They were really the ones that were stirring shit up. Yeah, and he remember what he said. He said, "We them ninjas."
Yeah.
And hey, they were.
You were, yeah.
It says, who in turn responded with severe countermeasures in the fall of '66. See, fall of '66, and some say like October, around there. The Jews combined in revolt, expelled the Romans from Jerusalem. All right, and you can read the rest. You can go to Britannica, type in, what you see there, first Jewish revolt. That way you can get more, more info on it. Let me see where we are right here. Which lasted about 3.5 years. All right. Which we're gonna get back, go back to where we were at. Daniel. You got it? We can move on. All right. So, go ahead.
It says, in the end thereof shall be. In the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war, desolation are determined.
Right, and we just read that, that these were the days of vengeance. All things might be completely fulfilled. And that was dealing with, from like the fall of 66 AD till the spring of 70 AD. Because what was going on back then was the siege of Jerusalem and the taking down of the city happened during the Passover. And what happened, you had a lot of Israelites coming from all over to worship the Passover. And the Romans knew that the people only had so much food there because they weren't letting anything out. So what they did was, in a strategic military tactic, was let all of these Israelites in there. Because he knew that when they go in there, they'll deplete all the goods quickly. So when they got in there, what happened? They shut it down, nothing was coming in and out. And then they got them. So that's the desolation of determined, because eventually they destroyed the temple. All right, so that's 62 weeks. All right, 3 score and 2 weeks. So go ahead.
It says, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
So how long is 1 week?
7 years.
7 years. Go ahead.
It says, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblations to cease.
So what is the midst of the week?
The middle.
Right. So
3.5 years.
3.5 years. In the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. Y'all seeing what's going on here?
So that's when the sanctuary was taken down there.
There you go. So it started when?
66 AD.
66. And by the middle of 70 AD, that's when they pretty much took it down. It says that.
It says, and the sacrifice and the oblations to cease, for the overspreading of abomination, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, and the determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Right, so the overspreading of abomination. Give me a precept to back that up before we get to some more of those historical documents.
Matthew 24.
There you go.
Matthew 24.
Desolation, desolation.
Matthew 24.
Don't call it out. No, I'm just playing.
Matthew 24 and what?
Matthew 24 and around verse 15. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 15. It says, "When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in a holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand."
So those people that are teaching that 7-year tribulation, obviously they don't read the scriptures. Because if you read the scriptures, you'll see that that was already fulfilled. See? Go ahead.
It says, verse 16, it says, "Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field turn back to take his clothes."
Yeah, because it was hell. So you had to get out of Dodge. Go ahead.
It says, verse 19, "And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days."
Because why? It was bad. There was even an account in the Josephus. There was one particular woman.
Mary Beelzebub.
Okay, I don't remember her name. That was her name?
Yeah, was it the lady who ate her child?
Yeah.
Yep, Mary.
Because you know what happened was every time she would cook whatever, the ninjas would come through and take her food. So she finally ran out of everything. She cooked her son. She ate half of it, and when they came to get it, he said, "Look, I left you some. I gave you your fill. You know, that's my son there. You know, have at it." And she ate half of it. It was like oh my God, you know. But that goes into Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the siege, you shall eat your children. Now, that's not the only time it happened. Because it happened during the Babylonian Empire also. You know, they eat their children of the span, you know, something like that, in the Book of Lamentation. So this is something that happens. See, because sometimes the curses don't just fall in one empire. That's why there's so many different ones. Like today, most Jake don't own land, don't have cattle, nothing like that. So obviously those scriptures of the curses when it's dealing with the land and stuff like that, losing the land and the fruit thereof and the wine, the cattle and all that, obviously that's not applying to today. But you do have those that might have those provisions that get taken away. But for the most part today, you can't apply that today. That's what I say, well, you know, that you can't be under the curses, because they're saying all these curses gotta happen right now in order for you to be the Israelites. You know? So that's it on that. So let's go back here. Let's read Daniel one more time, and then we're gonna get into some of this history. Okay?
So to sum up 27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, goes into 7 years.
Yep.
Okay. 7 years. And then the second part goes into the midst, which would be 3 years.
3.5.
3.5. Okay. 70 AD.
Yep. That's when it ended. Started 66 AD, ended in 70 AD. That's that first part of this verse.
Okay. And then cause the sacrifice of oblation to cease. And then this line right here goes into the the Matthew 24 and 15.
Yep.
Okay.
And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation that determined shall be put upon the desolate.
Okay.
That's when they were brought down. So now, let's get into some of this history. We read about the first Jewish revolt, started in 66 AD, ended in 70. That's the midst of the week. All right? We read some of this already. So, you know, your brothers can go back and read this. I just happen to like the way Britannica set it up. It's short, to the point. You got Siege of Jerusalem. All right? So then we got, because during that time, what happened? There was a commemoration. And that commemoration was what?
The Arch of Titus.
Right. Which is, what was it commemorating?
When Titus led the actual final strike against Jerusalem, I believe.
Yeah, the second.
No, it's Sack.
Sack of Jerusalem.
Which I believe Domitius actually one who actually set up.
Well, it was really Vespasian sent his son there, Titus, because he was busy doing something else. I forget every little part of it, but he sent Tiberius Julius Alexander, which was a Jake and an experienced general, putting down, Israelite rebellion, because there was a lot of rebellions in Egypt and so on and so forth. He was the main one they were sending to take him down. That's why he chose him, because Titus was inexperienced in doing this. So that's why he sent Tiberius Julius Alexander, but you never really hear about him unless you know who he is and you read about him. But he's really the one that should have been credited for taking down Jerusalem. Because it was through his expertise that it was brought down. Yeah.
And he the one that showed them the way how to cut the food supply off. Secret, what you call it? When you like have like storehouses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it says when you look it up, the Jewish Roman general, I think it is, something like that.
Yeah, he was a so-called, really Israelite Roman general. Yep. So, but like I said, I didn't read that part, but that's very likely, because that's exactly probably what he did in, because you had an Alexandrian revolt. The Israelites in Alexandria, they were revolted, and I believe even up in North Africa, Cyrene. And also, you had a lot of revolts that Jake, Jake was doing. He was an expert in taking them down. All right, so you can read some history on the Archetitus, so that way you can get right there. So the ark was built shortly after the death of Titus in 81 CE. So this was 11 years later, and was commissioned by his brother Domitian. All right, so he commissioned the building of it, and I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, Titus that had commissioned the finishing of the Colosseum, because his father died before it was actually finished building. I believe he died before they finished building it. Who succeeded him as emperor, and is decorated with a series of carvings celebrating Titus' most illustrious victory, the struggle against Jewish rebels that culminated in the capture of Jerusalem in 70 CE or AD. All right. It says the sculptures depict Roman soldiers carrying off treasures looted from the temple. They also refer to the emperor's deification after his death. All right. So you get that, and when you look inside of here, that's where they have the actual Romans carrying the menorah and things of that nature captive, which I believe they used the treasures that they stole from there to finish building the Colosseum. So let's see what else we got. This is Judea Copta, which is Judea. Yep, Judah was captured. And this is Vespasian. And this is Israelite woman. This got to be a Jake. Because he got a beard. You can't really make out the face too much.
Palm tree.
Yep, by the palm tree. The palm tree represents what? Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, you could say peace. But then what happened? They were captured, so their peace was taken. See, and you see her, all down and out. Because Jerusalem was taken down. Now we got Judea Coptic coinage, were a series of commemorative coins. It was more than one. Originally issued by the Roman Emperor Vespasian to celebrate the capture of Judea and the destruction of the second Jewish temple by his son Titus in 70 CE, which really was Tiberius Julius. That really led the revolt, that really got in there, but he just got the credit for it. He happened to be present during the first Jewish revolt. There are several variants of the coinage, right? We got Jewish-Roman wars. There was a series of 3, I believe it was. The Jewish-Roman wars were a series of large-scale revolts by the Jews of Judea and the Eastern Mediterranean against the Roman Empire between 66 and 135 CE. All right, because there was more than just at that time period. The first Jewish-Roman war was 66 to 73 CE, which I believe in 66, it was the fall of 66. What month in 66 AD did the first Jewish revolt start? October 66 AD. So you leave what, 3 months? You have 66 AD, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. So that's a 7 years. You know, so you had the 3 months, and then I believe it was April of 73 AD when Masada fell.
Yep.
So that's your 7 years. And that's a 3.5 years after 70 AD. See? So it falls in line with prophecy, scripture. You know? And Yahushua said that when you see the abomination of desolation stand where it ought not. So that means that part of the prophecy was fulfilled at that time. It's the 1 week. All right? Let's see what else we got. It says, what month in 73 AD did the Jewish-Roman War end? The first Jewish-Roman War, also known as the Great Jewish Revolt, ended in April 73. That's 4 months. You had the 3. That's 7 months. Some change. So you got your 7 years. All right. And that's it. That's pretty much it. You know, it's 3 verses, but there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history there, you know. But you know, you brothers can get familiar with the different characters, and you get a moment, look them up, and that's how you build up your knowledge, biblical history and historical knowledge. These secular individuals. What's that?
I said yes, sir.
No? All right.